Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the week in Marvel Avengers Alliance. This is the week of Saturday, 11/15, and let's take a look at what we are facing here in the week of Marvel Avengers Alliance. So, we are winding down on the Spec Ops. We've got about a week and a few days left. This is the Blade and Dr. Morbius Spec Ops. Today's background music is brought to you by the Civilization Beyond Earth soundtrack. It's a game that I am definitely looking forward to getting at some point. However, I have a huge list of games in the way, notably Borderlands 3, the pre-sequel, Warlords of Draenor is live, and I'm leveling to 100. HOTS is back, Heroes of the Storm. There's The Evil Within, there's Aliens, Colonial Marines, there's just a whole bunch of stuff. So, what are we looking at here in this week in Marvel Avengers Alliance? Well, we are winding down also in PvP Season Gamma. And I've got my defensive team is now fully level 14. Still running the same gear, and you know, it's holding it down. It has its moments, but wanted to show you what I've gone ahead and done with these guys. So, Uncanny Cyclops is still running Generosity. Over here for his augmented ISO 8s, I still have the powerful attack over here. Wide open on his level 2, which will help Beast. Nothing really on his buff over here, however, I could either go with Gracious or actually Manifesting, except Manifesting costs gold. But this one is probably going to be my next purchase. There's another Manifesting to give over here to Uncanny Cyclops. And then his level 9 is using increased chance to crit because it has deadly crit. So I want to make sure it has that increased chance. Over here on Beast, he's got some stuff too. Unfortunately, he suffers from having two items that there isn't anything you can do with. You cannot do anything with the debuff category yet, which really sucks. So I have his Heart of Darkness applying pressure points, and his Jekyll and Hyde applying Vampiric Strike. We do know that the AI does like to use both freely, especially if there are any dots on the enemy team. And I'm still running Thorny, Signpost, the Hotshot, and the Cube. This may eventually change. Over here on offense, still running the Grimoire of the Legion, the Mark of the Brotherhood, the Mystic, the Synthetic Cube, Psylocke. Her ISOs are sitting there with the Vorpal on the level 1. Manifesting over here on this, which is good because when you start combat and it applies this buff, Manifesting kicks in automatically. Gracious on the shield is rarely ever gets used, and I have the increased chance to crit on the level 9. Although honestly, the Vampiric could go pretty well on this one since it is a slashing. As a matter of fact, I am going to swap that out now for at least one combat and try it out. Angel he's been pretty much the same for a long time. He's got the Wide Open on his level 1. He has the Nanoplague hits everybody. This is a huge key to this group. I would not be running this group without this AI, so I have the Ionizing here on this one because it's an energy and a increased chance to hit on his death. Again, this is another one where Vampiric could go well, Bleeding could go well on that one. So, as we sum up the Spec Ops over here, I have Blade. I've got him at level 8. He is due to be level 9 pretty soon. I do not have Morbius yet. I'm still fighting the Demon Packs. And this one's probably going to end, unfortunately, for this team. But this is kind of a spot that I really hate. If my agent goes first, Mark of the Brotherhood fails to be a quick action. It says that it is. And I don't really need it quite in the first round. So I'm going to go ahead and apply flanked to everybody because they are not running the Mystic. See, there goes mental coordination, and that right there actually applied the Epiphany to everybody, so you'll see that Psylocke has the increased chance to, well, the guaranteed critical hit. So, since Wolverine is up next and he's flanked, I'm going to go after him. Wolverine could, of course, even with the Mystic up for my team, be a little bit of an issue. But he didn't do the full overcharge, so this damage is not too strong. Angel's going to go ahead and nanoplague the enemy team, which will take out War Machine. Wolverine's healing factor kicked in, which negated that damage. So here in turn 2, I will go ahead and apply the Grimoire again. So now my agent and Psylocke are bleeding, as you can see. I immediately follow up with the Light Fantastic, which will remove that. And I will use Mark of the Brotherhood to get that quick action mental coordination and get Epiphany again. Hopefully he doesn't use the scroll, which, okay, he didn't. See, this is where I like this team. The Nanoplague will shut that down, and because Psylocke is using psychic attacks, she's actually going to go right through any shield over here. Not really too sure how they got those buffs out with Nanoplague. I didn't see them scroll it off, but now we can see his buffs have gone into the toilet over there. But unfortunately, his healing factor pushes the Nanoplague off the table, because that is one of the things that can remove it, is healing. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just keep him flanked again. I'll suffer the bleed since combat's pretty much going to be over. Let's see the Vampiric Strike in action. She bled. She's going to bleed again, but I'm not too sure that it did anything there. I think it might have healed, but because I have quick combat on, it's really hard to tell. Yeah, really no sign of it exactly there. We'll go ahead and finish it off with the Famine, which will shut down. Or it'll miss. That's ridiculous. Wow, the dots weren't enough to kill him. That's kind of amazing. Alright, we'll end this with the Mystic. I'm surprised at how hardy he was for that one. So that's why I like this offensive team. They have stealth, they have a debuff remover, and like a debuff keeper offer in that Nanoplague. The only thing that occasionally will give me an issue is the Soak Scroll. I went up against an Iron Fist Hercules team earlier that I beat, but I had actually lost to a similar team in the past. The Scroll of Aknazak will essentially make sure that Nanoplague ceases to function. It still does the dot, but it will not remove buffs at that point. And that's very, very interesting to see Nanoplague be shut down by that. And just that simple first action there on the scroll fixes that. So I just kind of went after the agent. Here's what's holding me back on Morbius at the moment is the fact that I've only gotten 4 out of the 10 demon packs. I should have some more of that today. Mission 4 is really good for that. I hadn't ever won a 1000 batch ISO series over here. I had won a 100 one, But I've just been kind of keeping it a little on the casual side with the ISOs that are going to make the push as the Spec Ops winds down. So in terms of items, we're still looking at the Woodsman's Axe over here, which I have seen in PvP just once. Nothing to write home about. Both of these, the Solid Slug Shotgun and the Gravedigger Spade, I think I would definitely like to pick up. I think I did see a spade on somebody in PvP, but again, nothing to write home about. The Eldritch Staff over here and the Stake Hammer. I'm not that impressed with the staff. Probably wouldn't go for it. But the Stake Hammer could be worth it. And over here in the Dracula mission, we have the Withering Blade, which I believe could be really nice. Maxed out the stars over here because I was kind of farming for that gear. That one's a little close. That one's further away. And, you know, you get like 2 demon packs out of this mission, I believe. So I'd be going for that. Over here in Season 2, Chapter 7, I have all of the upgraded ones. The challenge mode weapons down here on a good chunk of the bottom row. I've got this one. I've got that one. Over here in the premium mission, I definitely want to pick up the Eye on the Prize and everything like that. Both of these would be nice. I have the ISOs over here in mission 1, but do not have the weapons. Do not have any of these weapons. And do not have any of these weapons. I did see the challenge mode version of the Devil's Claw show up in PvP. But again, really nothing to write home about over there. And it looks like with another day of clicking at ISOs, I should be able to do at least 2.5 of the Spec Ops missions. And maybe hopefully get around 6 or 8 of the demon packs left. It would be nice if they were to decrease the gold cost in skipping that task the closer that you got. Must say that a lot of my time in the near upcoming weeks and everything's going to be focused on Warlords of Draenor. Definitely having fun leveling in that. I played enough of the beta to know about the game and the dungeons and the zones and a good chunk of the quests, but not so much that I get into it live and it's old hat. And I think that was definitely one of the things that burnt me out very, very quickly in Mists of Pandaria, is that I had done the beta about halfway through, went backwards when the girlfriend got in, and, you know, carried her from 85 to 90 when I was at 88, so I essentially went halfway backwards. Did it all again, was farming some reps, doing some dungeons, even did some raids, so that when it actually went live, it was easier, but at the same time, it was like, man, I, like, just did this. This is actually kind of awful. So I really didn't make that mistake this time around, and I'm happy with it. I like being able to be a resource to my guild and my team, and at the same time not be completely burnt out on it. We have the simulator task from Morbius. Still haven't picked that up yet. On sale we have the Hard Knocks, the Deathly Freeze Ray, and of course we still have the Hunter set item, the Stake Thrower. I think I may eventually pick up the Stake Thrower, since I do have the Flamethrower, so I do have another piece of the set. The Deathly Freeze Ray and the Hard Knocks were released over 2 separate days, so the DFR came up first, and then the next day the Hard Knocks came up. This is a really, really good pairing. The Deathly Freeze Ray gets the chance to incapacitate if you have poison on yourself, and the Hard Knocks will give it. I do believe that the Signpost gives it too, if I remember correctly. So the Deathly Freeze Ray, it hits all enemies. It has a fairly long cooldown in 2 rounds, but it is ice magic, ranged, and guns. So the magic means you can use the ISO that will heal you when you use this. Hard knocks is magic also, and the counters count as magic. So if somebody is burning and you happen to hard knocks them, the magic ISO will heal you. I did see an agent use this several seasons ago in PvP, and it worked out really well because every time he was countering, he was healing himself. The only problem is you do the you preemptively counter on burning enemies only, and the deathly freeze ray is chilled, not burning. So that's where these two don't quite work out together. And for some reason, it's showing the damage is fairly low over here. Hard Knocks does tend to hit a little bit better than this. Soulfire is nice because it's a sort of like Nanoplague that it will remove beneficial statuses. So that's also pretty nice, but of course that'll get screwed up by something like the Soak Scroll. So we have the Moonstone lockboxes on sale. They're going to be expiring in the end of November. I think these guys might expire right before a gold sale, which I think sucks. I think it should overlap the gold sale a little bit, so that if you really want these items, you can get it. I have the Hard Knocks and the DFR, so I have no need to buy them, but I may eventually get the Stake Thrower. So that's pretty much it for the week of Marvel Avengers Alliance. We've got another 2 days or so. On PvP Season Gamma, the matchmaking has been okay. There's still definitely a lot of complaints about it. I personally find that it was a lot like PvP Season Beta, with the exception that the agent is not running overpowered weapons anymore. I am still seeing some people running Combat Sitrep, otherwise known as the Gauntlets of Go Early, and that seems a little bit more stupid now because the agent isn't overpowered. So yeah, I think there's probably some better things you can fit in that slot. So hope you enjoyed this look at the week of Marvel Avengers Alliance here on G4G, Games for Gamers. Take care, everybody.